Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in every person's life when comfort becomes the enemy of progress, when the path to greatness demands not applause, but pay not ease, but endurance, not certainty, but faith. You see, pain is not a punishment, it is a process. It is the fire that forges the sword, the pressure that forms the diamond, the storm that teaches the eagle how to soar above the clouds. Every great man and woman you've ever admired has faced moments that nearly broke them. But those moments did not come to destroy them, they came to define them. Let me tell you a story. A young woman once lost her job, her friends, and her sense of worth. She thought the world had turned its back on her, but in that loneliness, she discovered her gift. She started writing, and her words began to touch millions. Her pain became her platform. Another man, born in poverty, worked 2 jobs just to survive. Every night he would whisper to himself, "This is not how my story ends." Years later, that same man would build a company that employed hundreds because he refused to let struggle silence his vision. My friends, growth will hurt, change will cost you, but the only thing more painful than transformation is staying the same. You cannot rise without being stretched. You cannot lead without being broken. You cannot shine without being refined. So when life presses you down, don't curse the pressure, thank it. It's proof that you're being prepared for something greater. The world today doesn't just need talented people, it needs tested people. Men and women who have been through something and came out wiser, stronger, and more compassionate. So I say to you, don't run from the pain. Don't hide from the struggle. Face it, learn from it. Let it shape you, because inside that pain lies the birth of your power. And when you rise, because you will rise with humility, rise with strength, and rise with a heart that remembers the climb. Remember this, pain you feel today is the strength you'll stand on tomorrow. The tears you cry in private will water the seeds of your public victory. And the test you're facing right now, it's not a setback, it's a setup. So stand tall, even when it hurts. Walk forward, even when you're tired. Believe, even when it looks impossible, because this will hurt, but it'll make you powerful. And when it does, the world will see not what you went through, but what you became because of it. Pain is not punishment, it's preparation. There's something deeply misunderstood about pain. We've been taught to avoid it, to fear it, see it as the sign that something is wrong. But the truth is, pain is not always a sign of punishment. It's often the very evidence that you're growing, that you're evolving, that something inside you is being prepared for greatness. Think about it. When a seed is buried underground, it's in darkness. It's crushed by the weight of the soil. It feels pressure on every side. But what we don't see is that under that weight, life is forming. Roots are reaching downward. Strength is being built in the unseen. Pain doesn't mean death. It often means birth. You see, when life pushes you, when you feel like everything is falling apart, that's not the end. That's the beginning of your preparation. The discomfort, the rejection, the heartbreak, all of it is molding you into who you're supposed to become. If it didn't hurt, it wouldn't shape you. If it didn't break you a little, it wouldn't build you stronger. The problem is we confuse preparation with punishment. We look at our struggles and think, why me? Why now? But what if the pain isn't there to destroy you, but to position you? What if it's the only language through which destiny speaks? Every great person you've ever admired has walked through seasons of pain that prepared them for purpose. Joseph sat in prison before he ruled in the palace. David faced lions and giants before he ever wore a crown. Even the butterfly has to fight its way out of the cocoon to fly. The process hurts, but it's that very process that gives it strength. If someone were to cut the cocoon open to make it easier, butterfly would never develop the strength to use its wings. The struggle is necessary. The same is true for you. That season of loss you went through, that job you didn't get, that friend who walked away, that moment when you felt forgotten, none of it was wasted. It was all preparing you for the next chapter. Sometimes God hides you in the dark not to punish you, but to protect you. He lets you sit in the pain so that when you rise ready. Preparation is never comfortable. Ask any athlete before a championship, any soldier before a mission, any mother before childbirth. The preparation always comes with pain. But it's that very pain that equips them to endure the purpose. You can't carry greatness with weak hands. You can't handle your destiny with an untested heart. That's why you must go through it. That's why it hurts. But here's what's powerful. Pain teaches you things comfort never could. Pain introduces you to your real self. It strips away everything fake, everything temporary, everything shallow. It shows you what truly matters. It makes you dig deep. It forces you to find your strength, your faith, your identity. You don't discover your power when things are easy. You discover it when things fall apart and you're still standing. Pain will test your patience. It will question your faith. It will make you doubt your worth. But when you choose to stay steady, when you keep believing even in the middle of it, something beautiful happens inside you. You transform. You stop being fragile and start being forged. You stop living by feelings and start living by purpose. And one day you'll look back and realize the very moments that made you cry the most were the moments that grew you the most. You'll see that what you thought was the end was actually the turning point. You'll see that what you called pain, heaven called preparation. There's a reason diamonds are not found on the surface. They're hidden deep beneath the earth, under layers of pressure and time. That's how value is created. You too are being refined in the hidden places, in the lonely nights, in the moments when no one sees your effort. Don't curse that process. One day, it will make sense. Every setback is a setup. Every delay is development. Every tear is watering something inside you that will one day bloom. So when you're in pain, instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Start asking, what is this preparing me for? Because the moment you understand that pain is preparation, you stop running from it and you start growing through it. Pressure reveals your true potential. Pressure has a way of exposing what's really inside you. It doesn't create weakness. It reveals it. It doesn't create strength. It uncovers it. When life begins to squeeze you, when the weight feels unbearable, when it seems like everything is closing in, that's when your real self comes to the surface. Pressure doesn't lie. It strips away pretension and comfort until all that's left is truth, who you really are, and what you truly believe. Every person has potential, but potential means nothing until it's proven under pressure. A seed may have the potential to become a tree, but it must first break open under the pressure of the soil. Gold may have value, but it must face the fire to be purified. And just like that, your potential remains hidden until life tests you, stretches you, and demands more from you than you think you can give. Most people pray for an easy life, but an easy life never makes anyone great. You can't discover how strong you are if you're never tested. You can't learn how far you can go if you never face resistance. Just like a muscle that only grows when it's pushed beyond its limit, your character and capacity grow when life applies pressure. It's in those hard moments that you meet the version of yourself you didn't know existed. Think about the eagle. It builds its nest high on a cliff, surrounded by thorns and sharp sticks, covered softly with feathers. When the time comes for the young eaglets to fly, the mother begins removing the soft feathers until the thorns are all that remain. The nest becomes uncomfortable. The eaglets begin to move, to resist, to spread their wings, and that discomfort forces them to fly. The pain of the thorns releases their potential for flight. Pressure works the same way in your life. It's not sent to destroy you, it's sent to awaken you. The reason it feels unbearable is because it's pulling something powerful out of you, something that can only emerge under stress. You may not like it, but pressure is proof that you're being prepared for more. You'll notice that in every great story, there's always a moment of intense pressure before the breakthrough. Moses faced the Red Sea before he led his people to freedom. Esther stood before a king with her life on the line before she became the voice that saved her nation. Even Jesus, before his greatest victory, faced the greatest pressure in the Garden of Gethsemane. Pressure always precedes power. It's the moment that separates those who talk about purpose from those who live it. Sometimes pressure will come through people, through betrayal, misunderstanding, or rejection. Sometimes it'll come through failure when what you worked for falls apart. Sometimes it'll come through time when you've been waiting for so long that hope starts to fade. But no matter what form it takes, purpose of pressure is the same: to make you stronger, wiser, and more resilient than you were before. You can tell a lot about a person by how they respond under pressure. Do they panic or do they persevere? Do they break down or do they break through? Pressure doesn't discriminate, it visits everyone. But only those who learn from it, who stay calm in the storm, who refuse to let it define them, discover their true potential. There's a reason the most valuable things on earth Diamonds, pearls, gold are all formed under pressure. Diamonds are made when carbon is pressed deep within the earth under intense heat and weight. Pearls form when an oyster endures irritation and transforms it into beauty. Gold is purified when it passes through fire. Creation itself seems to whisper this truth: pressure is not your enemy, it's your sculptor. When you're under pressure, it's easy to feel like you're being crushed, but in reality, you're being shaped. What feels like breaking is often refining. What feels like loss is often positioning. Life applies pressure not to destroy you, but to push you into alignment with your destiny. You may feel like you're in a tight place right now, where options are few, the weight is heavy, and the future looks uncertain. But remember, this pressure doesn't show up in your life unless there's potential worth revealing. The greater the pressure, the greater the promise hidden inside you. When the night feels darkest, when the walls feel like they're closing in, that's usually when something powerful is about to emerge. The seed feels buried, but it's actually being planted. The coal feels crushed, but it's becoming a diamond. Olive feels pressed, but it's producing oil. Nothing valuable comes without pressure. So when life presses you, don't fight it. Don't curse it. Let it do its work, because pressure is the proof that there's more in you. It's evidence that you're not ordinary. It's the sign that you're standing on the edge of something extraordinary. Growth requires discomfort. Growth is never gentle. It doesn't come wrapped in comfort or ease. It comes disguised as challenge, as pain, as situations that force you to stretch beyond what you thought was possible. Discomfort is not a sign that something's wrong. It's the evidence that something new is being born. Every time you grow, you must leave behind a version of yourself that no longer fits the next season of your life. That's why it hurts. Think about how nature grows. A tree doesn't rise from the ground without breaking the shell of its seed. A butterfly doesn't emerge without first struggling inside the cocoon. Even a child, before it takes its first breath of life, must push through the pain of birth. Growth and discomfort are inseparable. One cannot exist without the other. We live in a world that celebrates comfort. We chase convenience. We want the result, but not the process. The victory, but not the fight. But comfort is the silent killer of progress. It's the soft trap that makes you believe you're safe when in truth, you're stuck. The moment you choose comfort over challenge, you stop growing. And when you stop growing, you start dying inside. Every dream, every breakthrough, every transformation begins with a moment of discomfort. That uneasy feeling when you step into something unfamiliar, that fear when you try something new, that's the birthplace of growth. It's your spirit telling you there's more in you than this. Imagine a goldsmith refining gold. The gold must go through fire, not because it's worthless, but because the fire removes what doesn't belong. The process is painful, but the outcome is purity. The same is true for you. Life will take you through seasons that feel like fire, relationships ending, doors closing, opportunities slipping away. But those moments are not punishment, they are purification. They are burning away everything that can't go with you to the next level. Some people pray for growth, but resist discomfort. They ask for strength, but avoid the situations that make them strong. They want wisdom, but run from experience. Growth doesn't happen by wishing. It happens by enduring. It happens when you keep moving forward, even when it's uncomfortable. When you choose discipline over distraction, purpose over pleasure, and faith over fear. You can't become who you're meant to be if you refuse to let go of who you used to be. Growth will cost you people, habits, and even pieces of your identity that once felt familiar. It will ask you to leave behind the crowd and walk alone for a while. But that's the price of transformation. Every level of your life demands a different version of you. And that version is only born through discomfort. You might be in a season right now where you feel stretched, unsettled, uncertain. You might not understand why things that once worked suddenly don't. That's what growth feels like. It's the transition between who you were and who you're becoming. It's uncomfortable because you're expanding your mindset, your faith, your capacity. And expansion always hurts before it heals. Look at an athlete in training. They wake up early. They push their bodies past exhaustion. They endure pain most people would quit at. Why? Because they understand that the discomfort of training is the price for the glory of victory. Same principle applies to life. The pain you feel in the process is the signal that you're being prepared for something greater. Discomfort is the teacher that forces you to pay attention. It teaches you patience when you want instant results. It teaches you humility when pride would rather quit. It teaches you resilience when failure tries to convince you to stop. Every uncomfortable moment is molding you into someone more capable, more confident, and more complete. Growth doesn't happen in the light of applause. It happens in the dark of discipline. It happens when you decide to stay consistent even when no one is watching. It happens when you forgive instead of holding a grudge, when you choose peace instead of proving a point, when you show up even when it's hard. Those are the quiet moments of discomfort that shape greatness. So when life becomes uncomfortable, don't retreat. Don't rush to escape it. Sit with it. Learn from it. Let it do its work for you. Because one day, you'll look back and realize that every uncomfortable moment was actually a doorway that led you from who you were to who you were meant to become. Your struggle is the seed of your strength. There is something sacred about struggle. It has a way of introducing you to parts of yourself you never knew existed. It strips away comfort, pride, and illusion, and leaves you face to face with your true capacity. Struggle is not your enemy, it is your awakening. It's the training ground where strength is born, where faith is proven, and where character is refined. Every strong person you've ever met has a story that begins with a season of struggle. When life feels heavy, when everything seems to fall apart, that's not a sign that you've lost your way. It's the moment your strength begins to form. Like a seed buried deep in the soil, your potential often starts in darkness. No one sees what's happening beneath the surface. The world doesn't applaud your quiet endurance, your private tears, or your late night prayers. But that's where the miracle begins, in silence, in struggle, in unseen growth. A seed must be buried before it can grow. It must split, crack, and lose its form before it can push upward into light. That breaking is not the end of the seed's life. It's the beginning of its transformation. The same is true for you. Every heartbreak, every failure, every lonely night has been preparing you, rooting you deeper, shaping your strength in ways you can't yet see. You may think you're buried, but you're actually being planted. The strongest trees are not the ones that grow in easy soil. They are the ones that stand against the wind, that bend but don't break under the storm. The roots that go through struggle grow the deepest. That's what keeps them standing tall when the wind howls. Struggle is nature's way of building endurance. Without resistance, strength can never mature. Without storms, roots can never deepen. Look at history. Every person who changed the world had to first wrestle with something that nearly broke them. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison before he led a nation to freedom. Helen Keller lived without sight or sound, but taught the world what courage looks like. Their struggles were not their setbacks, they were their shaping. The fire that tried to consume them became the force that refined them. Struggle teaches you things success never can. It teaches you to be patient when nothing moves. It teaches you to be grateful when you finally rise. It humbles you when life could have made you proud. It makes you empathetic because you know how it feels to fight unseen battles. Struggle turns strength into something more than power. It turns it into purpose. Sometimes we ask, why me? Why do I have to go through this? But what if your struggle isn't happening to you? What if it's happening for you? What if every tear you've cried is watering the soil of your destiny? You see, strength isn't something you're given, it's something you earn. It's forged in the moments when you could quit, but don't. When you could run, but stay. When you could lose faith, but believe anyway. Struggle has a strange way of revealing what's truly inside you. You don't know how strong you are until you've been through something that tried to break you. You don't know how much faith you have until you've walked through darkness and still trusted that light would return. That's what struggle does. It forces you to meet the deeper version of yourself, the one that can't be shaken by circumstance. And the beauty of struggle is that it doesn't just strengthen you, it refines your vision. When you've been through pain, you stop wasting energy on things that don't matter. You stop seeking validation, stop living for approval. You begin to see life differently, clearer, sharper, truer. You start to recognize what's real, what's worth keeping, and what you can finally let go of. Every struggle carries within it a seed of wisdom, resilience, and purpose. But that seed only grows when you refuse to give up. Every time you rise again after falling, that seed takes root. Every time you wipe your tears and take one more step, that seed grows stronger. One day, what once felt like breaking will become the very story that strengthens someone else. So when you find yourself in the middle of a struggle, don't despise it. It's not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your strength. What you're carrying now, the weight that feels unbearable, is not meant to crush you. It's meant to build you. Every struggle is the soil from which strength rises, and every tear is proof that something powerful is taking shape within you. This will hurt, but it'll make you powerful. There are moments in life when the very thing you fear the most, the pain you wish you could escape, becomes the very thing that transforms you. It's strange, isn't it? How something that hurts so deeply can later become the source of your greatest strength. The truth is, power doesn't come from what's easy. It comes from what tests you, what breaks you open, what forces you to rebuild from nothing. Pain is not the enemy, it's the invitation. It calls you to evolve, to rise, to face the parts of yourself that comfort keeps hidden. When everything falls apart, when people leave, when life stops making sense, those are the moments when you're standing at the doorway of transformation. It hurts, yes, but that hurt is purpose. It's carving out space inside you, preparing you to carry something greater. Every person who has ever walked in true strength has a story written in pain. They were not born powerful. They were made powerful through loss, through heartbreak, through rejection, through failure. Power is not handed to you. It's forged in the moments when you thought you had nothing left. It's built in the nights when you cried and still decided to get up the next morning. When life hurts, our instinct is to run from it. We numb it, we distract ourselves, we pretend it doesn't matter. But pain doesn't go away just because we ignore it. It waits, it lingers until we face it, feel it, and learn from it. Because pain isn't here to destroy you, it's here to teach you. Every ache, every disappointment, every scar carries a lesson, and that lesson is what gives you power. Think of the process of refining gold. Gold is placed into fire, not because it's worthless, but because it's valuable. The fire doesn't destroy it, it purifies it. The impurities rise to the surface, the weakness burns away, and what remains is stronger, brighter, purer. That's what pain does to your life. It burns away the excess, the fear, the pride, the doubt, until all that's left is strength and truth. Sometimes pain will isolate you. It will feel like no one understands, like you're walking through a storm alone. But solitude isn't always punishment. Sometimes it's the silence you need to hear your own soul again. It's in that quiet space where you rediscover your purpose, where you realize you're still standing even when everything around you has fallen apart. That's power. That's strength being reborn in the midst of hurt. The truth is, real power doesn't come from the applause of others. It doesn't come from status or success. It comes from endurance, from the ability to keep going when no one is watching, when no one believes, when even you begin to doubt yourself. Every time you refuse to give up, every time you choose to hope again, you gain a little more power. The kind that can't be taken from you. This will hurt. The change, the growth, the letting go. It will hurt when you realize some people can't come with you to your next season. It will hurt when you have to start over. When the door you prayed for closes, when the thing you thought you couldn't live without is suddenly gone. But you will survive. And not only survive, you will rise. You'll look back one day and understand that the hurt was necessary, that it stripped away what was weak so that what was strong could finally emerge. You see, the most powerful people aren't the ones who never fell. They're the ones who kept standing up. They carry quiet strength, not arrogance. They walk with compassion, not bitterness. Because pain didn't make them hard, it made them wise. It taught them that every wound carries wisdom, every setback holds a lesson, and every heartbreak is a doorway to deeper purpose. There's beauty in what hurts. There's meaning in what you're walking through right now. And though you may not see it yet, this pain is shaping you. It's preparing you for the life you were meant to live. A life rooted in resilience, in understanding, in power that cannot be shaken. The hurt is temporary, but the strength it builds will last forever. There comes a moment in every life when you realize that everything you've been through, every heartbreak, every disappointment, every lonely night was not meant to destroy you, but to awaken you. Pain was never your punishment, it was your preparation. Pressure didn't come to crush you, it came to uncover the potential sleeping inside you. Discomfort wasn't your enemy, it was your invitation to grow. And your struggles, they were never signs of weakness. They were the seeds of your strength. You've been through seasons that tested your faith, moments that made you question your worth, and storms that felt endless. Yet here you are, still standing, still breathing, still capable of becoming everything you were created to be. That alone is power. That alone is proof that pain doesn't define you. It refines you. Life will hurt sometimes. Growth will stretch you. Change will cost you. But if you can endure it, if you can learn to see meaning in the pain, if you can trust that every scar is shaping you into someone stronger, then nothing can stop you. Because the truth is, the pain you're feeling today is not permanent. It's a passage. It's leading you toward a version of yourself you haven't yet met. A wiser, braver, more powerful you. So don't run from the process. Don't let fear convince you that you can't make it. You've already come through too much to quit now. Keep going, keep believing, keep becoming, because every tear you've shed, every mountain you've climbed, every moment you thought you couldn't survive, all of it was building something eternal inside you. One day, you'll look back on this season and realize it was never just pain. It was power in disguise. And when that moment comes, you'll stand taller, speak clearer, and live freer. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. This will hurt, but it'll make you powerful.